Good evening. How do we do? Welcome to Dark Sayings. Ladies and gentlemen, as the clock strikes midnight and the world slips into silence, welcome to Midnight Mystery Sessions, Veils of the Void. Now, I am Pete, a humble master of mysteries and antiquary of the arcane, and the weirdest man in the world. I'm your guide through the labyrinth of the inexplicable, the arcane. Tonight, we tear back the veils that shroud humanity's greatest truths. Whether the line between the known and the impossible blurs like fog over forgotten ruins, imagine the chill wind carrying whispers from distant stars, the ground trembling beneath unseen feet, the moon's hollow gaze staring back with secrets older than time. From shadowy figures soaring through storm clouds to interstellar wanderers defying the laws of the cosmos, we plunge into tales that have haunted the edges of our belief for decades. These are not mere stories. They are echoes of encounters that demand we question everything. This devoted community, we explore conspiracies and paranormal echoes, extraterrestrial riddles, occult undercurrents, religious shadows, and historical voids, blending unyielding facts with the raw pulse of human wonder. For the next hour, we'll navigate 5 profound enigmas: the spectral dance of flying humanoids, the clandestine exchange of Project Serpo, the phantom armada of Solar Warden, the moon's echoing hollow core, and the enigmatic approach of Three-Eye Atlas. Each will unfold like a forbidden scroll, drawing you into the heart of the phenomenon. So dim the lights, lean in close, and let the void speak. Join me now as we lift the first veil. Your questions await in the live chat, and together we will stare into the abyss. But before we begin, allow me the opportunity to extend my thanks to our live chat moderator right here on YouTube, Miss Tina Tomaszewski. I'd also like to say a warm welcome to every one of you tuning in, and at least make you aware of my deep appreciation for your time and the devotion that many of you have shown to this community. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I hope I've earned your subscription and I've got your attention. Give me a chance. We'll get through these stories, and you see what you think. Quick channel update. Been a little bit behind on getting my shorts up daily. I think we last posted one about 3 days ago. So got a couple days coming up where I'm off. So I plan on getting caught up, and you will see more consistent content in the coming weeks once I get a little bit on the reserves. So I'm very thankful that I've been able to be more consistent and provide you with more entertaining information about some of the strangest topics our world has to offer. So thank you very much. Now let me just take a quick poke through chat since it's early enough I can say hellos. What do we got here? A little Elder Groon. Hello, how do you do, Elder Groon? What do we got? Guru Augie hanging out. My man Jonaside. Hey, look, there's Ginger Viking Jesus. Look, fun with cards, comics, and culture. Member for 25 months. That's what I'm talking about. I'm so excited. These are back. Thank you so much for coming back, Pete. Been following you since High Strangeness. Hope all is well. Well, thank you very much. Fun with cards, comics, and culture. And I appreciate you sticking with me as long as you have. High Strangeness was quite many years ago. God, almost 6-7 years now. It's been quite a while. So do appreciate you. Thank you very much. And thanks for being a channel member for so long. And guys, you're going to sign up for channel memberships. I want to expand my offerings in that regard. I might start filming more of the I don't want to say so much as behind the scenes content, but more like the making of kind of stuff. So you can I'll film little bits of research, and every time I come through something cool, I'll film myself talking about it. And then after the video is produced, I'll release that stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out, So good stuff, everybody. So thanks so much for tuning in. I don't really have too many things along the way of updates. Just making more content. I don't really feel in a position where I've been consistent enough to go out there and rock the boat too much. I'm just happy to be getting more stuff up. But what I would like to say is that I'm looking to do something for Halloween. been toying with several ideas, kind of more of a, I'd like to highlight more members of the community than anything else. So like in that regard, I'd be very open to, if you reach out to me via email, DM, something like that, get to me on Twitter or Instagram. Let me know if you have any interest in appearing on a live stream. We might do like an hour long and, maybe have like a handful of community members to come on. You can bring a topic you always wanted to ask questions about and maybe something you're passionate about. And, we'll talk about it. We'll hash it out. Maybe do a Halloween, like Happy Halloween horror hoedown. I don't know. Something like that. Something to that effect. Anywho, let's get into it. Our first topic tonight. Now I know you're all curious about 3i Atlas. I've been following this thing like a maniac since July. Not initially, I'll be honest. Not initially. I wasn't too interested in some space rock, but once the chitter chatter about the potential of extraterrestrial technology came into the equation, it became much more of my wheelhouse. So I have been following it pretty intently, anticipating its arrival in our solar system. And it is a very curious event. I think that much to talk about. So we'll get to that at the end of the show. But I want to ease in with something a little more classic. Something that's always been a favorite topic of mine in this regard. So we're definitely going to start with something fun here. Now buckle your seatbelts as we strap in for flying humanoids. All right. Flying humanoids. Are these winged phantoms or harbingers? Are you ready? Let's get into it. I want you to breathe deep. Picture a stormy night, and the sky is fractured by lightning, and massive cloaked figures glide silent on leathery wings, their eyes gleaming like distant stars. Flying humanoids have been sighted for centuries, defying gravity and reason. Celestial messengers, or something far more ominous. Let's descend into their realms. You're standing on a rain-slicked rooftop, thunder rumbling when a colossal shape blots out the moon. 10 feet tall, hooded, with bat-like wings spanning twice that, gliding without a sound. Reports span the globe, from Mexico's 2000s chupacabra hunts to Chicago's 1950s Mothman precursor, where witnesses freeze as these entities hover, silent and watchful. Eyewitnesses describe elongated limbs, cloaks billowing in unnatural waves, and presence that chills the soul. Military pilots in the 1960s logged similar encounters over nuclear sites, their radar blanks, hearts pounding. What force propels these apparitions through the storm? Now the wind whips harder as you track one across a desert horizon, its form shifting like smoke. In 2001, a Texan family watched a winged humanoid descend near their ranch, its wings folding with a leathery rasp before vanishing into the scrub. Paranormal investigators note patterns. Sightings spike before disasters, as if the heralding is of chaos. A 2013 Ohio video captures a dark figure soaring over power lines, evading capture on grainy footage. Skeptics will cite misidentified birds or drones, but the sheer scale, the wingspan up to 20 feet, defies explanation. You feel the air thicken. Is this folklore reborn, or a warning etched in flight? The storm breaks as you ponder. Could this be interdimensional travelers slipping through rifts in reality? Occult texts whisper of ancient sky demons, guardians of forbidden knowledge, while ufologists link them to extraterrestrial scouts, their wings engineered for Earth's atmosphere. Government files from the 1970s detail Air Force pursuits, planes stalling in their wake, pilots reporting electromagnetic pulses. Biologists dismiss them as hoaxes. Yet infrared scans from recent sightings show heat signatures to humanoid for birds. The veil thins further. What if they're us, evolved shadows from a parallel world watching from above? Lightning flashes illuminating ancient cave art, where winged men battle serpents, a motif echoing through Aztec codices and medieval grimoires. Modern archives bulge with thousands of reports from a 1997 Israeli beach where figures snatched a swimmer mid-stride to a 2023 drone feed over the Amazon, capturing a gliding silhouette against the canopy. Folklore paints them as vampires or angels, but the facts ground them in terror. Witnesses left with burns, nightmares, a sense of being marked. You glance skyward, the rain, cold on your skin. These aren't myths. They're memories waiting to repeat. As the storm fades, questions linger like the mist. Why do they appear before calamity, as if drawn by fate's thread? Could advanced surveillance's tech mimic their grace, or do they herald a larger unveiling? The night air hums with possibilities. What draws these winged enigmas to our fragile world? Take a moment now. Let's let the chat breathe life into this one. I want you to share your sightings, your fears. We'll linger here before piercing the next veil. So let's get into the chat a moment, shall we? Let me pop all my old peepers here so I can see what I'm looking at. All right. Bing, bang, boom. Let me see. What is happening here? Oh, all right. Oh, there's some new options in the old StreamYards I was not aware of. Let me just check to make sure everything's running well. Oh, we're still moving on Instagram. Holy smokes. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right. Okay. We got a comment here from Tina Tomazuski, member for 26 months. Thank you, Tina. You big tub of weirdo. Yeah, I'm a big tub of weirdo. Big effing tub of weirdo, like a Crisco can. Like a big tub of lard. You know, that's how it goes. That's how it goes when you're living a rock and roll lifestyle of secret cheeseburgers and tasty cakes. But I digress. Anywho, as I said, and I see somebody doing it already, so I'm gonna make sure I'm seeing it clearly here because I want to acknowledge it. Let me see. I'm missing tabs. Which tab am I missing? Let's see. It's this one. Where's that at? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Sorry, I lost a tab there. Lost a tab. All right. Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. There's some changes to the interface I'm not familiar with. All right. Okay. Just getting caught up. I see it here. All right, Guru Augie. Could ancient dinosaur let me see. I can't see that at all. Let me try the other. My vision has become very poor over the years, folks. Never was too great. But it's definitely not batting a home run these days. There we go. Let me just keep bumping up the size of this dang thing here. Okay, that helps. That helps. I can see it. Dark Sayings. Could it? Ancient dinosaur or bird things were much larger back then. I think you are absolutely onto something there, Guru Augie. The prehistoric mammals and birds and reptiles were obviously larger than they are now. I mean, we're so used to that idea because of dinosaurs were such a thing when you're young. Like they're a big topic for kids, especially young boys. So there's the dinosaur aspect of things, very large reptiles. You got to figure insects were larger back then, and mammals were larger too, specifically during the Ice Age. That period of time where you had mammoth and what are they called? The saber-toothed tiger, I guess. Like I know there's another name for them that I can't think of that sounds better. Your giant sloths, your giant armadillos, all kinds of giant animals. So there could be something left over from that. I've always kind of thought that Thunderbird folklore tied into the remnants of small populations of very large prehistoric animals. And I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. You could have some undiscovered species out there still. I don't think it's that far-fetched. So I do leave the realm of possibility open for that kind of thing. I don't think it's it's too beyond the pale. That's just my opinion on these things. Yeah, Ginger points out it was a hyper-oxygenated environment, so a lot more oxygen in the air, bigger plants, bigger animals. That's just how it was. That's just how it was. I often wonder if you were to pilot a spacecraft millions of years ago towards the Earth. Let's say you arrived 65 million years ago from some far-off world. This would truly be a planet of monsters. Truly a planet of monsters. Gigantic lizards eating each other. Just marauding lizards all over the place. It'd be probably pretty terrifying planet. So you got to figure it once the Earth was a real horror show. Yeah, and the whole dinosaur thing's debatable as well. The age of the Earth is debatable, and the true nature of creation. All these things are really up in the air. We can accept, just what we're told about these kind of things because it's easy. It doesn't break our paradigm. But when you dig deeper, there's definitely much to learn. I dare say. Pardon me. All right. Let's dip in this chat one more time before we roll on to the next topic. Still got a little frog in my throat from last week, folks. Still got a little frog in my throat. Don't know what's going on there. Okay. I think we're caught up. Here. Okay, moving right along. I'm having trouble seeing anything there. Okay, there we go. Tina remarks that you can go to the South Florida if you'd like to see giant lizards. And I agree that's probably the case. There are giant lizards in Florida, gators and such. You see some interesting footage from these golf courses from time to time. All right, let's roll into topic number 2, Project Serpo, an interstellar exchange or a shadow deception. Shift your gaze to barren New Mexico deserts under a starless sky, where black helicopters hum like distant thunder. Ferrying 12 astronauts to an alien world 40 light years away. Project Serpo, a whispered 1965 pact with extraterrestrials. Diplomatic mission or elaborate psyop. Step aboard the craft. You're an underground bunker. Fluorescent lights are buzzing as Eisenhower-era officials ink a treaty with gray-skinned visitors from Zeta Reticuli. 12 elite airmen trained in secrecy board a shimmering disk in 1965, hurtling towards wormholes to Serpo, a harsh binary star planet of a red sand and twin suns. Debrief tapes describe 2 suns baking the horizon. Alien hosts with telepathic welcomes and a years of cultural immersion. Leaked memos detail the exchange. Humans for EBENs or EBEs. The tech specifically. The air, it tastes metallic. What drove this cosmic bargain? The ships shudder as you land, dust swirling under alien boots. Serpo's gravity tugs heavier, its air thin and acidic, forcing suits for months. Astronauts log domed habitats, holographic maps of stars unknown, and nightly telepathic briefings on galactic federations. 2 died from illness. 8 returned changed, haunted by visions of Serpo's pyramids and underground warrens. Photos smuggled back show crystalline spheres under perpetual twilight. But authenticity debates rage. You feel the isolation. How does one chronicle a world without words? Years blur as the craft re-enters Earth's atmosphere. Survivors sworn to vaults of secrecy. Released in 2005 via anonymous drops, the diaries reveal warnings of hybrid threats and interstellar wars. Facts corroborated by cross-checked military logs. Skeptics dismantle it as disinformation, citing inconsistencies in star charts. Yet, linguistic analyses match alleged EBE dialects to SETI signals. The debrief room echoes with suppressed sobs. What horrors or wonders did they bring back? Deeper in, you uncover ties to Roswell wreckage, reverse engineered drives powering the journey. Eyewitnesses from the program describe EBEs as empathetic yet detached, sharing fusion tech that shadows modern patents. Conspiracy webs link Serpo to MJ-12 directives, a veil over ongoing abductions. Fact checkers note verifiable details like 1960s radar anomalies aligning with launch windows. But the human cost lingers. Survivors, redacted suicides, families in witness protection. The desert wind howls. Was this bridge building or a trap sprung? As the stars wheel above, the pack's purpose haunts, a gesture towards unity or humanity's unwitting pawns. Did Serpo's lessons shape black budget fleets or fade into classified dust? The void stares back. What if the exchange never ended? Pause with me here. The chat is open. Your insights on the interstellar shadows will reflect before unraveling the fleet that guards our skies. All right. So what do you think of this one? Hey now. Hold up. Something going on here. My fingers are numb. My fingertips are numb. I looked it up. It's either carpal tunnel, diabetes, or it's left over from when I was a drunk. All right. Hey, Maurice Span Gaming for $1.99. Thank you so much, Maurice. Maurice is here. Good to see you, Maurice. Glad you can make it tonight. You missed our first and second topic so far. We still got 3 left to go, so there's plenty of show left. If you're just joining us, we just covered the flying humanoids, followed by Project Serpo. Now we'll do a little chit-chat about Serpo as a topic here, this extraterrestrial humanoid exchange with Earth people in exchange for technology done by Eisenhower's administration. So, yes. Maurice, and thank you for the super chat, Maurice. I do appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Also, shout out to Ginger. You did super chat last week right at the end of the show, and I haven't had a chance to thank you. I haven't even thought about it till now, so I'm sorry I neglected to do so earlier. Let's see. Without words, there is only cold mathematical precision. Yeah, I guess you're absolutely right about that. So interesting stuff. This Project Serpo thing. I don't know if this happened or not. There's some that I think may have in these annals of like UFO lore, and that's really a lot of it is lore. It's mythology. It's modern myth. I mean, some of it may very well be real, but that doesn't mean that there more than half of it is mythology. Very little of it can be verified. It's almost got a I don't want to say religious quality to it because it's not really a matter of doctrine or dogma or anything like that, but there is a certain level of belief. You certainly need to be able to suspend your disbelief regarding some of these topics, and especially some of these accounts that we hear. Now, some of the high strangeness stuff, I mean, just so beyond the pale, so bizarre. I think of John Keel and the Mothman and everything that was going on there with like Woodrow Derenberger and Indrid Cold and the phone calls and everything about it was just so beyond strange that some of these things they just can't be explained and they can't just be dismissed, and that's precisely how I've always felt about this stuff. Hey, Bogus Hype. Bogus Hype got something to say here. I can't see it. Gotta pop my peepers back on. I want to hear more about the Bustioids. The Bustoids. We could talk about the Greek hero Bophades. Are you all familiar with the Greek hero Bophades? Guru Augie. I believe that there's things that the MIB is not telling us, but imagine what planet Serpo looks like. There's a description of Serpo. I believe Serpo is very like almost like a desert planet. They say it's very barren. There were some large animals there. My understanding is, I don't know if I can recall correctly. I don't know if Serpo were the people that took all the predatory animals off their planet and moved them to another. I think they were vegetarians by nature or something like that. They were telepathic. They were Greys, but they weren't like Greys when we think of like, Communion, Whitley Strieber Greys. I think that they were more like, like taller than you expect them to be in that regard. If my memory serves me correct. I'll tell you, man, this finger numbness is it's pretty crappy. It's pretty crappy. I don't know what the deal is. Really bothers me when I drive though. I don't know. Falling apart here, folks. Getting older is no fun. All right, where are we at? Let's see. I think we're right on time here. So any questions, comments, Serpo stuff? We're going to move next on to the next one. I know you're all waiting for the big reveal at the end, what we got on the updates regarding 3i Atlas and the speculation around this interstellar object. Possibilities exist. Speculation abounds. What's the truth? Doesn't matter. Would anybody care? At this point, if aliens showed up, I just looking for it. I'd look to it as an excuse to stop paying bills entirely. I think we should all commit to that. If aliens show up, we're not paying bills anymore. We're done. We're done. Every social contract is null and void when the moon men set foot on the earth. I'm done. I'm not going to work. I'm not paying bills. It's over. It's over. I'm going to start planting tomatoes now for when the inevitable alien shows up. And I'll go into the market on Jersey tomatoes. That's the plan. That's the plan for right now. But yeah, when the aliens show up, the bills got to go. Bills got to go. That's it. We got moon men now. It's over. It's over, Jack. Pack it up. Load it on the bike rack. Take it on out. Because it's done. It's done. Marshmallow. Is there any mention of them calling themselves the custodians? That's a very interesting take. I have heard that term before, but I'm not very familiar, to be quite honest, which is unusual for me. But I would assume, based on that title, that we're talking about some kind of like interdimensional archon type being, not necessarily a non-corporeal, non-human intelligence like a demon or something, angelic being in that regard, those kind of things. But that's kind of what I was thinking of. Ginger, both of these hands. Nah, that's not what I was thinking of there, Ginger. That's not what I was thinking of. Yeah. All right. What else we got in chat here? Tomatoes are very hard to grow from seeds. Good point, Mr. Mackey. Good point. But I'm in the tomato state. I'm in the tomato state. I can throw a slice of tomato on my lawn. I'll have a bumper crop. A bumper crop. Big, ripe, juicy tomato. I'm being silly. Pete's Raiders arc begins. Yeah, we're doing a little fallout here. Tina says, you think I got a lot of shoes now? Let aliens show up. I'm running the credit cards up. Just think of what kind of shoes aliens might be selling, Tina. You can buy some moon shoes. You can buy some moon shoes. I got the moon shoes. Maurice Span Gaming with a big $49.99 just because, says Maurice. Maurice, you've continued to humble me. This is a couple weeks in a row now. You're really been very generous. And I got to say, I really do appreciate it. It's been very helpful. As every time I get a little bit ahead, life kicks me in the dick. Life kicks me in the dick. And then somebody like you shows up, and you're like an angel on my shoulder, dude. And I really do appreciate it. I'm very humbled. So the dick is out of the sack now. I'm a big softy at heart. But you move me, Maurice, and I do appreciate it. You're very kind. Thank you so much. All right. So yeah, where were we? Project Serpo. What do you think? You think this was BS? Who thinks Serpo's BS? I kind of think it might happen because it's so tied into the Greater Treaty, and like maybe there was an alien left over after Roswell, and they were able to get him to communicate with his parent, his planet. So like, I don't know, the timeline works for me. Like, I think it has a little more credence than say Valiant Thor. You know, what do you think? Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? I think a little more credence than Valiant Thor. Marshmallow continues. They would want us to think they are the custodians of Earth, yet I believe they are nefarious, in my opinion. Well, Marshmallow, I would agree with that sentiment. If they are like Archon beings and there's some kind of like Gnostic soul recycling going on, you know, they say the what's it, the Sirius Mundi region of the moon is supposed to house a soul collector rather, that recycles souls back onto the planet. You know, there's like the Saturn moon matrix that David Icke talked about, that kind of thing. So there could be something to that idea overall, if Gnosticism be true. But I don't necessarily ascribe to the whole idea of like Archons and Yaldabaoth and Sophia and these overall extra characters that are kind of introduced in the Gnostic writings. You know, like there's delineation between the divine and all these lesser beings. And it's not to say it's not without precedent, because I have been working on a video regarding the divine council from scripture. And these are, you know, lesser celestial beings, not God, but I mean, they work for him, you know, they definitely got jobs to do. So who are these characters? And I'm definitely looking into that. But I think that you're right, that there's definitely an idea where the rulers of the earth, and I believe this personally because of my faith and because of the ancient writings, the rulers of the earth are negative spiritual entities. And if you extrapolate everything going back to Zoroastrianism, the Zoroastrians believed in one God. Around the same time Judaism's developed, the Zoroastrianisms are up and going. And their concept of divinity manifest in a benevolent deity by the name of Ahura Mazda, which is where the car company gets its name. And he was referred to as the wise Lord. Now, Ahura Mazda enacts creation and makes everything through himself as a trap for evil. Evil is represented by another counterpart being named Unger Mainyu or Ahriman. And this creature is everything negative about the world. So Ahura Mazda creates a perfect universe, and Unger Mainyu or Ahriman sneaks into it, and with his very presence brings every manner of corruption that exists. And the ancient Zoroastrians would ascribe all kinds of negative aspects of life to the presence of this negative entity in our reality. Everything from like the dangerous nature of wolves to the bitter cold of winter. All of these things exist because the deity Ahura Mazda knew the evil being Unger Mainyu could not resist the chance to corrupt something like creation. And it was a definitive trap because once evil was in here, it couldn't get back out. So the Zoroastrians believed in a threefold kind of faith. And through their good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, could assist in this great battle between good and evil, eventually defeating Ahriman or Unger Mainyu in an ultimate triumph of good over evil. Now, a long time ago, I did a video on the eschatology of this religion regarding the end times. It is a very interesting, like apocalyptic work. One thing that always stood out to me about the Zoroastrians, and I'll get back to my point, was that they are twofold present in the Jewish and Christian scriptures. You will find them after the captivity in Babylon, when the Persians defeat the Babylonians and free the Israelites. And it is Cyrus the Great who frees them and also foots the bill for the construction of the Second Temple, where many generations later, Christ would be flipping tables and whipping money changers. So same place, paid for by Cyrus the Great, the Persian king, who was a Zoroastrian. But they also believed that evil was here on earth. It was trapped here. And the scriptures would indicate the same in the Jewish and Christian tradition as well. Satan is cast down to the earth. He's not in hell. He's here roaming like a lion, seeing who can devour. He's all over the place. Supernatural entity with the ability to influence your senses. He's not omniscient. He's not like a god. So it's not like he's on par with a deity. But he does have a plethora of supernatural abilities. So do these many demonic entities that have existed since the dawn of time. And I think specifically, once I got into doing Nephilim research, it really kind of brought that full circle for me. That there are these beings that were never meant to exist. And there was no place in heaven, hell, or on the earth for them. So after their deaths, their spirits roam the earth with all the desires of the flesh, but no body to experience them, which of course drives them mad. And I believe that there might also be a connection to these creatures. I don't want to say creatures because that would imply physical form. These entities, these non-corporeal, non-human intelligences roaming the desolate places. And there may be some connection between this and the missing 411 phenomenon. But I digress. We can get into theory crafting all night. But I think there might be something to that, as I said. And you know, I think that like the scripture says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but powers and principality of the spirits of the high places. You know, there's evil out there, and I think it manifests here in our physical reality. It is just corrupt by its very nature, and it is supernatural. It is a supernatural force. It is a supernatural force. And whether it is some kind of manifestation of a collective unconsciousness of all the rage and sorrow and anger and spite and hatred that we carry in our hearts, or it is some kind of intelligence, willfully evil, willfully in antagonism to all that is considered good, I guess it remains to be seen. Those are one of the answers maybe we'll get when we pierce that veil for the last time and meet our maker. So who knows? Who knows? You know, that's what I got to say. That's what I got to say about all that. All right, pop back into the chat. Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Mackey pointing out there may be something going on the moon, though. That's why we haven't been back. I would agree with that sentiment. The Marshmallow talking about nefarious entities on the moon. Many were remote viewed. I think Ingo Swann remote viewed mining operations on the moon where human beings were under the watchful eye of extraterrestrials conducting mining operations. I neglected to quit myself with a beverage. I think I can go. I think I can go another 20 minutes. We'll see. I don't think I can. Hold on a moment. I gotta wet my whistle. Gotta wet the whistle. How do I turn this camera off? 1 second. I forgot how to do any of this. I'm such a tech expert. Okay, I'll be right back. I just gotta grab this water bottle. I'm not even gonna turn my mic off, so I'm not gonna go that far away. I will continue to entertain you with my vocal stylings as I cross the room to find my wonderful water bottle. All right, now I'm heading back. I know it's so exciting. This is the most exciting part of the show. There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry to keep you waiting. Sorry to keep you all waiting. All right. I'm not just sitting here like John Travolta with my chest all popped out. I do have a shirt on under here. Plenty of taco meat. Serving it up. Grande style. Put a little that verde on it. Oh, much better. Oh. RR points out that Rudolf Steiner borrowed heavily from Zoroastrianism. I've been fascinated by Zoroastrianism for a long time. Elder Grun, this reminds me of Tolkien's Silmarillion. You know, Tolkien was very, very devout Catholic. And I think that, I mean, it's inevitable that it comes through in his work. And I always find it, you know, I don't want to say it's a little bit humorous when we're like huge fans of Lord of the Rings, don't recognize that they're so free. The books are so Catholic. It's crazy, dude. Like they're super Catholic. Like, you know everything you like about this book? Super Catholic, you know. Because I mean, I have, you know, friends who are non-believers and stuff, and they really appreciate the book. Huge fans. And you know, they don't like being told that it's religious in nature. Oh, they get very upset. Jason Forrester. Crap, I'm 30 minutes late. Lord, Thunder anyway. Hi, Pete. Hi, Tina. Everything will be okay. I'm here now. Well, thanks for tuning in on there, Jason. Glad to see you. Okay. Ginger read about a pack of wolves that guided or pushed a toddler back to human society. There are stories like that throughout time, you know, of feral children out in the wilderness. You know, like a real life Tarzan kind of situation. I know that. I mean, there were specifically ones I can recall seeing, like little snippets about on like In Search of regarding like feral children in like the Victorian France, I want to say, and you know they helped like teach them to speak and stuff. So you know that's that's the thing. Like I mean it's happened throughout history. You know, I mean it kind of is what it is. Like as bizarre as it sounds, I mean I'm sure it's it's probably probably happen quite often. You know. One can only guess. One can absolutely only guess. All right. Yeah, Ginger points out Freddie Mercury was Zoroastrian. Marshmallow says, in my opinion, when you die, you don't, I know, been there, done that. Plus, I know not go into the light. It's a reincarnation mind wipe trap, in my opinion. Look for your true light to go home. Yeah, I mean, that's all interesting and stuff. That's kind of scary. Like, what if the light is a trap, like a moth to a flame, you know? Mage Grey Wolf. Wolves are cool that way if they don't eat you. Mage, I don't know if you remember years ago, and I might redo the video because it was a very cool topic. It was the Winter of the Wolves, like I believe it was in the 1400s. I want to say for like 1418, 1419, something like that. Paris, their city walls were so damaged from year after year after year of war. And the crops had been a bust that year. Over hunting had like thinned out most of the animals that predators would prey on. So shortage of like deer and stuff, and the wolves made their way through the holes in the walls, and it was a huge pack of them. Like 75 wolves like came into the city of Paris, and they were just attacking people left and right. They were starving, mad from starvation, and I mean people weren't even doing that well at the time. So like these wolves were mad from starvation to the point where they breached holes in a city wall looking for something to eat, and they were just attacking people. And long and short of it, they the leader of the pack, I believe they called him Corto or something, Corto. From my recollection, I think it means bobtail because he didn't have a long wolf tail like the rest of them. But they dealt with those wolves, so I might make a new video to update that one. It's a lot of fun, that story. But yeah, wolves, they were no joke back in the day, and I'm pretty sure the European wolves were larger than the wolves we had here in America. I'm not 100% on that one, but there was a time when wolves were a real problem for the people of that continent. Okay. Nietzsche and Zoroastrianism both fascinate. Yes, LaSweet. LaSweet, been a minute. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Ginger kid got lost in the woods. Wolves got the child back to people. Cool, very cool. Tina's stupid internet keeps freezing up her PC. RR says, so spoke Zarathustra. Funny how werewolf stories always come from France. Hides and Long Grass is right about that. There are a lot of popular werewolf stories from France. Most predominantly the Beast of Gévaudan. I think everybody knows about that one at this point. But excuse me, there were various other wolf attacks. I think there were some at Lyons, and there was France was such a geopolitical powerhouse at this time. I mean, it's not strange that we have so many stories recorded from France throughout history because they were such a prominent fixture in world politics. And, a lot of their history is super entwined with the Vatican. There were a couple of popes and anti-popes where, one would flee to France and, Joan of Arc, the English. And remember, it was the English break away from the Vatican. And, France is like protecting the real pope as the fake one sits on the throne. So they're, very different cultures, but I think that like for the people of France, there were, and I hate to say this, but I've always considered you don't really hear often about ancient or medieval, and there's one or two, but ancient or medieval, like serial killers, you know? I think the closest would probably be like Peter Straub, the werewolf, who was just a madman, and like Countess Bathory. I know there's a few I'm not coming up with on the top of my head, but I think there were more than that. And I think the werewolf stuff is intrinsically tied to that kind of thing. Like inexplicable murders were just attributed to like supernatural creatures in some ways. Like, because I mean, you got to figure like probably some of the most heinous, awful things were done by people. I don't even know if humans could fathom that kind of thing back then. You know, I often say that someone living today because of the internet has access to the types of perversions that someone 100 years ago could never have fathomed in their darkest dreams. You know, like we are pretty desensitized. You used to talk about being desensitized to violence, 20 or 30 years ago because of the television. Man, we just don't care about nothing now. There's moon men orbiting Mars and nobody cares, like it's crazy. But I digress. I think we've dwelled a little bit on this. We got about 15 minutes left. I think we only got 2 topics to go. So let's bang them on out. And we'll put another one in the books. Oh my God, what's going on here? Cancel that. No, I don't want to do that. I just wanted to move this window. That's all. Okay. All right, where are we at? Let's see. Hold on. Trying to get an idea what I'm looking at. Okay. What are we working with currently? Oh well. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Anywho, I'm just trying to find my place here. Lugaroo, Rougarou, French Connection. Yeah, Lugaroo, the Loop Garoop, the Cajun beast, Cajun werewolf, the beast of the bayou. RR talking about the return of the Holy Roman Empire was highly influential in the revival of Western civilization. Dracula hides in the long grass. Points out Dracula's based on a real person, just like werewolves. I think all that's based in reality. And to RR's point, it's true. The Holy Roman Empire had a lot to do with Western civilization's preservation throughout a tumultuous time. My favorite Holy Roman Emperor, you're going to probably guess this one, considering the kind of stuff I'm into, Rudolph II, real weirdo. He was in possession of not only the Codex Gigas, but the Vonich manuscript as well. And as a boy, he had his horoscope read by none other than Nostradamus. And as an adult, he employed the services of none other than John Dee and Edward Kelly. So a man who was steeped in occultism and met some of the heavy hitters of it in his own lifetime. So Rudolph II of the Holy Roman Empire. And all of that time period in the history of Bavaria, of the kind of, there was a defenestration that occurred. God, this is so fuzzy. I did a huge amount of research on this, like, I don't know, 11 years ago. I was researching the ancient alchemists and the Rosicrucians. I was trying to trace their path through Europe. But such interesting stuff. There's so many connections in the intrigue and the espionage that was going on between these different European countries in the time periods that it was occurring. There's occultism and alchemy and figures like Casanova and the Count of Saint Germain. Like, it's all very exciting. There's so much going on. And this is not even, we're not even, I guess we're, just on the verge of the age of exploration, and this Gilded Age. It's fascinating history. It's so fascinating. All right. I got a super chat coming in here from Marshmallow. Have to run now. Please make note of what I said. People like me are being monitored. Been monitored for a long time now. Not just online either. Be well. Much love to you all. Shalama. Alakan. It's American. I'm sorry. It's Aramaic. Peace. Thank you very much, Marshmallow. Much appreciation. $20 super chat. Very thankful. Very generous of you. Appreciate that very much. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for stopping by. Again, my fingertips numb as can be. Got some stranger action going on over here with his hand getting so numb. Oh well. That's how it is. That's how the healthcare bill skyrockets, isn't it? Let's see. Bogus hype theory. If heaven or something like that is timeless, then we are already in it and have been there always. And this life is just a blink of imagination. I don't know. I don't buy into any simulation theory kind of stuff. Heaven is a distinct reality. It's not only a state of reality, it's also a state of being. Like hell is a state of reality and a state of being. There is a separation from the light of God, which is something that even as a non-believer, you have access to here on earth during your lifetime. But once you're in hell, that's just shut off. Like, you know, if you're looking for a very interesting take on near-death experiences, what was that man's name? Howard Storm. Howard Storm, I believe his name was. Was that it? Yeah. I believe it was Howard Storm. And he was an atheist. He was an artist. He was going through European cities, on a museum tour, like, so he could hone his craft better. And he ended up having a medical emergency. And long and short, he died. And he went to hell. And he was like manipulated by demons. And, there's some stuff he said he won't even talk about because it's too grotesque. So, I mean, is it real? Do you want to roll the dice with it? I think many people have rolled the dice with it. And I think one of the most guilty perpetrators of rolling the dice with it is none other than the church itself. Because as far as like I can tell, the Catholic Church decided to water down everything it stood for and every rubric it had for centuries in the 60s to, I guess, the plan was to put more butts in the pews. Well, they did nothing but water down the faith and chase people off. Now you got lukewarm people who don't even believe in transubstantiation anymore. And that's crazy. I mean, that's one of the tenets of Catholicism. Meanwhile, the Protestants, they got 30,000 seat mega churches that are as big as a, college basketball team's stadium. And there's a Starbucks in the lobby, and if your church has a stage, not an altar, is it really a church? And I think all of it's gotten so ridiculous. Like there's a pop culture influence. I mean, there's even priests out there with podcasts that are, and that started out, I think, harmless enough. I remember there were a few, and even before the podcast existed, there were priests that would do these bar events and then people would record them. And then before you know it, you got this whole ecosystem of like Christian influencers. And for good or for ill, maybe they're spreading the word, but I mean, people living it the way it was intended to be. Like I've always felt that, at least from my personal perspective, Catholicism should be very strict religion, very strict stuff's in Latin, man. You can't even speak the language. Don't eat no meat on Friday, not just during Lent, which is rough, and it should be rough. People talk about Ramadan because you can't eat till the sun goes down. In Lent, you can't eat nothing, dude. You just you eat like one meal a day and like 2 snacks, and you can't eat meat like I don't know. You're not supposed to eat meat any Friday, but that's how it rocks. So I always felt it should be very hardcore. Like this was a religion of friggin' Knights Templars and Crusaders and Swiss guards that died on the steps of the Vatican fighting the armies of like Charles IV and shit, this is wild stuff. The siege of Jerusalem, Saladin's armies, Baldwin IV, there's a lot to be said for that. The Battle of Lepanto. Friggin' Crusades, dude, justified and awesome. It's badass stuff. So I don't know. I think the time to be lukewarm is over. We're facing an evil world, but it's just my opinion. I'm not going to get too preachy. Marshmallow, message redacted. Oh, Marshmallow, where'd you redact your message? I think we already read it. Well, I appreciate the super chat anyway, Marshmallow. Elder Groon, Dark Sayings, you might want to try a wrist brace. I have mine carpal tunnel and it helps. Not a bad suggestion. Not a bad suggestion at all. I think that's something I should look into. I have known coworkers in the past who wore them. They said it helped. Guru Augie, the prosperity gospel is evil. Yeah, I think it's the most corrupt nonsense in the world. I don't know. I mean, it's all nonsense at the end of the day. I mean, it's all men, and men are flawed. So, the church is flawed because the church is made of people, but it's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. It can't be. Because it's an institution. It might be instituted by a God, but he left humans in charge of it. And Eddie, show me one person who hasn't been at least a piece of shit one day in their life, who hasn't done something they rather people don't know about, or fucking they're ashamed of, or they could undo, who maybe said things they regret, or hurt somebody emotionally, or maybe embarrassed themselves in some way that you can't show your face back where you used to go. Nobody's perfect. So no institution made up of imperfect people can be perfect. There's a saying that the church is not a museum for saints, but a hospital for sinners. And I would adhere to that belief personally. But I digress. I'm going off on a tangent. Let's keep it moving. Okay. Enjoy your passion, Pete. Thank you very much, LaSweet. It's supposed to be difficult. It's about eternal salvation, not filling seats in the pew. I agree, RR. And in the end, they say the church is going to go back underground, back to the catacombs. That's where it'll be. But you know what? The fact of the matter is the people who practiced this faith in the earliest days, all the followers who lived and walked with Jesus for those 3 years, ended horrible, horrible, horrible ways. All of them died horrible deaths, except for John, who got exiled to an island. He probably died there on an island by himself. But at least he had a vision of Christ before he went. He saw the end. He wrote it all down in the gospel, in the apocalypse of John. Revelation. The book of Revelation. He's the only one who does not die a horrible death. Everybody else gets like their head cut off or burned in a fire. Peter gets crucified upside down because he didn't feel worthy to die the same way Christ did. So he said, crucify me upside down. Now, I want you to consider this. If you are upside down, crucified, you probably got a fair amount of blood running in your eyes. The breathing, it has to be incredibly difficult to breathe. Bad enough when you're being crucified right side up, but can you imagine being upside down? Oh my God. These people don't die for a lie, dude. You're going to die for some nonsense you made up? Who's going to do that? Who's going to be like, oh man, I can't tell the truth now. They're going to nail me to a freaking block of wood. It's crazy. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I see a little chatter on the church going on there. I see Jason and Mr. Mackey. And I'll tell you what, I did a video on this years ago called The Fifth Column. It was about the infiltration of the Catholic Church that occurred in the late 1950s, and it subsequently leads to Vatican II, the idea of ecumenicism and the idea that all paths lead to Christ, all religions lead to God, but in their own way. It's a perversion of the Prisca theologia that came around in the Renaissance, where people believed if you trace religion back to its earliest roots, you would find its purest form, and that this thread ran through all religions on earth. I don't believe that. I think there's one real religion, and that's it. There's one single religion. It's mine. It's the one I believe in. You may disagree. That's fine. That's all well and good. We can all do that. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. All right, moving right along because I'm taking up too much time and I'm getting too off topic. Let's get into the next and second to last subject here. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, there's more we got. We've only done 2. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. I wasted tons of time. It's like the end of the show. All right. Topic number 3, we're doing the Solar Warden Space Fleet, a secret armada, or a cosmic guardian. I want you to lift your eyes to the velvet blackness of space, where sleek, black triangles slice through the void. A hidden armada patrolling the solar system's rim. Solar Warden, the alleged U.S.-led Space Force since the 1980s. Defenders against invasion, or guardians of forbidden skies. Launch into orbit. You're strapped into a zero-G cockpit, thrusters firing as massive carriers, triangular hulks with plasma drives, dock in lunar shadow. Launched from black sites in the 1980s, Solar Warden's fleet numbers dozens. Scout drones zipping past Mars, battle cruisers enforcing no-fly zones near Jupiter. Whistleblowers like Gary McKinnon hacked NASA logs in 2002, undiscovering manifest of the USSF, vessels crewed by international treaties. These stars streak by. Who commands this unseen navy? Adrenaline surges as you intercept a rogue asteroid, lasers carving its path. Solar Warden's routine per leaked manifest. Patrols neutralize ET probes near the Oort cloud. Logs detailed skirmishes with reptilian craft in the 1980s Venus flybys. Crews, a mix of military and cloned pilots, endure months in cryogenic holds. Emerging holographic briefings on galactic threats. Infrared telescopes capture fleeting signatures, matching declassified patents for anti-gravity propulsion. The hum of engines vibrates through you. This isn't fiction. It's frontier warfare. Static crackles over comms as you dock at Ganymede Outpost, where admirals and black ops briefed on MJ-12 oversight. Solar Warden's birth ties to Reagan-era SDI, repurposed for cosmic defense. With fleets from solar sails to warp-capable destroyers, hacker dumps reveal ships with names like USS LeMay, coordinates aligning with anomalous radar pings. Denials from officials ring hollow against corroborated satellite anomalies. You suit up for EVA. What enemies lurk in the outer dark? Alarms blare. A draconian mothership decloaks near Saturn. Phasers trading fire in a ballet of light. Reports from insiders describe alliances with Pleiadian fleets. Joint ops against Orion incursions. Facts echoed in cross-verified pilot journals. Skeptics attribute sightings to Starlink flares, but orbital photos show unexplained formations. The battle's roar fades. Solar Warden stands as humanity's silent shield, or the veil over interstellar imperialism. Drifting in the cosmic current, the fleet's purpose gnaws. Protector from the stars or enforcer of Earth's isolation. Does its patrol hide breakthroughs in free energy or endless wars? The void presses in. What if they're watching us right now? Let alone, let's hold here. Dive into the live chat for a moment and see your fleet theories. We'll orbit a moment longer before howling the moon's core. All right there, folks. What do we think about the Solar Warden Space Fleet? I used to really believe that was up there. I don't know. I really don't know anymore how I feel about space, aliens, or extraterrestrials. I've really started to believe they probably are here and have always been here, and they're not coming from the deep, dark reaches of space. You know? Where are we at? Jason seems to be talking about the art installation of the Vatican in that snake-looking building. I know, look, if you look into things, you're going to see things. If we're looking for snakes, we're going to find snakes. That's not to say I agree with everything the Vatican does or says, but it's not my place. You know, like I submit to Rome. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they're not telling me to do anything that's beyond the pale of the faith, that's fine. But as far as like interpreting what needs to be interpreted and telling me the official stance, I'm okay with all that. I can live with that. I can't live with crimes and nonsense like that. That shouldn't be a thing. So any of these scumbag priests who have hurt anybody should definitely be in jail, defrocked. In general. So that's the thing. All right. I used to think it was up there. And the whole Gary McKinnon thing, they never extradited him. Largest hack in U.S. history, and they never extradited him. He hacked the military, man. He didn't go to jail. They didn't bring him in. They didn't put him on trial. Who knows what he was said? Who knows what evidence they would have had to show? And let's also take into account that during the first Trump administration, they created Space Force. What was all that? I think that's just an admission that's already been up there. Because I don't think it's not been up there. I don't think it's not been up there. That's just what I'm saying. All right. Maze Grey Wolf, ultra-terrestrial humanoids make more sense than extraterrestrial humanoids. I agree. Elder Grun, there are aliens here, I think, come from the Hollow Earth. I think you're right. Maurice Spann, we already know the truth. Yeah, well, we do. We really do. It's a shame. I feel like there's people who don't know nothing about this are very fortunate. Like if you don't know this kind of stuff's going on, you're probably happier. Okay. All right, we're gonna roll into the next one. I don't want to take too much longer after stream ends. We're already back in a record-breaking time here. Okay. All right, 2 left. We're going to blast through the last 2, just so I don't fall asleep here. Topic number 4, the Hollow Moon, echoing orb or cosmic shell. Descend now to the lunar surface. Boots crunching regolith under hammer strike that rings hollow. The tapping a vast empty bell. The Hollow Moon theory posits our satellite as an artificial shell engineered eons ago, an ancient base or deceptive facade. Let's breach its crust. You're on Apollo 12's landing site. Seismic charges detonating, vibrations echoing for hours, like a bell tolled in a vacuum. 1969 data showed the moon wobbling like a gong, quakes ringing 50 minutes post-impact. Soviet lunar probes in the 70s confirmed a shell-like structure, 20 miles thick, encasing vacuum. Astronauts whispered of metallic clangs during drills, the surface flexing unnaturally. The dust settles, but hides within its echoing sphere. Moonquakes from meteorites last thrice as long as Earth's, per NASA seismometers, suggesting a rigid, hollow frame. Density readings clock in at 3.22 grams per centimeter to the third power. Too low for rock, more like titanium hulls. Ancient texts described sentinels crafting a spaceship moon parked in orbit. You're scanning craters, spotting geometric anomalies on high-res photos. Facts meet fiction. Is this natural or the relic of forgotten engineers? Radar pulses bounce oddly from shadowed craters, hinting at vast cavities. Per 1970s Jordan bank arrays, whistleblowers claim Nazi V-2 tech seeded lunar outpost, now patrolled by Solar Warden. Core samples revealed processed materials, isotopes screaming artificial origin. The horizon glows faintly. Could ET refugees dwell in pressured warrens, their lights mistaken for UFOs? From H.G. Wells' Selenites to modern simulations modeling a Dyson swarm fragment, the hollow moon fits alien megastructure puzzles. Seismic waves traveling 12 miles farther than expected, defying geology. Declassified briefs note ring like a bell, fueling cover-up claims. You trace Maria Chryslem's face, its eyes hiding entrances. The pull of gravity feels wrong. What symphony plays in its core? As Earth rises blue and distant, the moon's secrets weigh. Cosmic eggshell for incubation or shield against solar flares? Does its hollowness explain tidal anomalies or mask a gateway to elsewhere? The silence deafens. What if we're guests on a hollow world? Reflect with the live chat now. Your lunar lore awaits. We'll surface soon, turning our eyes to the sky's latest intruder. All right, chat it up, folks. What are we talking about here? Let me get my glasses on, make my peepers. All right. A Dyson sphere is large enough to encompass on either star, so not quite. Yeah, Dyson sphere would be rad. That'd be really rad. Okay, just checking up here. Jason, what if an alien civilization wanted to observe us? What perch could be more perfect than the moon? You're right. I think you're absolutely right. There could be something to that. The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship. So it's too strange. Why not? Why couldn't it be a spaceship? I don't think there's any reason to suggest that it couldn't be. I mean, it's very unusual what size it is for our planet. Its precise location, regulating the tides. It's all very interesting stuff, at least in my opinion. All right, without further ado, I don't want to waste any more of your time. We're going to get into 3I Atlas alien craft, interstellar visitor, or celestial deception. So finally, peer through a telescope at the edge of our solar system, where a rogue comet streaks inbound, its tail flickering unnaturally. 3I Atlas, the third interstellar wanderer, sparking debates of alien probes or frozen relics. Discovered by Atlas in the mid-2025, it hurtles towards perihelion on October 29th, just beyond Earth's orbit. Craft or comet, train your lenses. You're at Mauna Kea, scope located on a faint streak. 3 Atlas, trembling from Lyra at 30 kilometers a second, its comma glowing blue-green. Unlike Oumuamua's cigar or Borisov's tail, this one's irregular, accelerating oddly per Hubble frames from early September. Mars orbiter snapped photos last week, revealing a rocky, potato-shaped core 1 kilometer wide, outgassing unpredictably. Ground stations track its path. Whispers of non-gravitational boost echo Avi Loeb's astroarchaeology. The night deepens. Is this probe or ice? Infrared spectra shows exotic ideas. Xenon traces in rare solar comets, hinting at origins in a distant red dwarf. As it nears the sun, brightness spikes 20% beyond models per recent ESO observations, its rotation wobbling like a spun top. SETI scans from October 8th yielded silence, but a Harvard paper last month probes if it's tech, citing asystematic thrust. You adjust focus, the tails, fans, erratically deliberate signals, or solar winds. Loeb's team flags it as potential relic, its path evading stellar nurseries, while mainstream astronomers hail a pristine comet. Its 1.4 astronomical unit perihelion safe from Earth. Viral footage from amateur scopes shows fleeting glints, lights, or ice facets. Consensus leans comet, but unexplained emissions in the UV bands. Logged by Swift satellite on October 10th. Fuel probe talk. The dome hums. What payload does it carry? Telescopes worldwide swarm it. Vera Rubin's feed from Chile captures surface features too geometric for nature. Preliminary analysis. Public forums buzz with alien arc theories, echoing Oumuamua's sail debates. Though no radio pings emerge from Arecibo's successor, NASA's October 9th update confirms outgassing, but trajectory tweaks defy pure gravity. You log data. The void yields no easy answers. As 3I Atlas crests the ecliptic, its enigma lingers. Frozen time capsule from another star or silent scout scanning our cradle. With perihelion days away, will it reveal fragments or fade into myth? The telescope cools. What message does it whisper to those who listen? Let's pause for a live chat. Your cosmic hunches here will convene through thoughts before the close. All right. Okay, let's get them all in quick, folks. I'm ready to bounce. Ginger Viking Jesus. Allied Craft, what do you say? Power source has to be substantial. Okay, all right. All right, anywho. Let's see. All right, any comments from the chat here? If not, I'm going to wrap it on up. I think it's too early to tell. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Where do you leave off? Oh, there it is. There we go. Am I in the wrong thing? Let me see. Apologize. No, that's the right one. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let's wrap it on up here. Pop in the chat one last time. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Tina. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. You guys are the best. This is Tina Tomaszewski. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Anywho, and there, my friends, the veil falls once more, leaving us adrift in the vast unknown, from winged specters to stellar intruders. Now, I want to know if you've sent a super chat tonight. Your support lights the path through these shadows. Thank you from the depths of this weirdest man's heart. To everyone tuning in, your presence makes this midnight vigil alive. Thank you for sharing the void with me. Don't drift away yet. Please subscribe, hit that bell for future unveilings, and share this session with those who dare to question. Until the next chime of 12, stay vigilant in the dark. Good night, and I can't find. I'm sorry. I'm not. You know what? I ruined the whole thing. I ruined it all. Hold up. Here it is. All right. Anyway, until next time, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being here. Thanks to our live chat moderator, Tina Tomaszewski. Until we meet again, I'll see you in the shadows.